To like really unpack this Ravens Buccaneers game,
Oh, yeah.
we're going to go beyond the highlights and get into like the real nitty-gritty.
Absolutely.
You guys sent us the play-by-play transcript.
Yeah.
And we're going to like break it down piece by piece.
Love it.
We're going to figure out not just what happened, but why it matters.
Right.
You know? So by the time we're done, you'll be dropping some serious football knowledge.
Oh, yeah. You'll be impressing your friends from all the insights.
Exactly.
You know what I think is really interesting about this game is, the final score might make it seem like it was like a, total domination.
Right.
But when you look at the play-by-play, it was actually pretty close.
Yeah.
There were some moments where it looked like the Buccaneers might actually pull ahead.
Oh, for sure.
So we're going to dig into those turning points and see what really tipped the scales in the Ravens' favor.
Yeah, and even just like the start of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Evans, that touchdown,
There's a
100th career touchdown.
A milestone moment.
That's not just like a cool stat.
No.
That puts him in some elite company.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. 100 career touchdowns. He joins an exclusive club with names like Jerry Rice and Randy Moss.
Wow.
I mean, that is a testament to his consistency and his impact over his entire career.
Yeah, he's like a touchdown magnet.
He is.
Yeah.
They say some receivers just have that knack for finding the end zone.
They're just in the right place at the right time.
Exactly. And Evans has proven that time and time again throughout his career.
Yeah, but even with that explosive start, the Buccaneers offense, they kind of sputtered for most of the game.
They did.
The transcript mentions a lot of dropped passes, missed opportunities.
Right.
Which is surprising considering the talent they have on offense.
You would think with a talent like Mike Evans, they'd be unstoppable.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about football.
Right?
It's a team sport.
It's not just about one player.
Exactly. One player having a phenomenal night doesn't guarantee a win. And the Buccaneers struggled particularly with their offensive line.
Oh, really?
The transcript mentioned some injuries, maybe some questionable play calling that disrupted their rhythm.
Interesting.
And, if your quarterback doesn't have time to throw, even the best receivers in the world can't do much.
That's so true. It's like they're just sitting ducks out there.
Pretty much.
So if a shaky offensive line can cripple an offense,
Yeah.
it makes you appreciate what a solid offensive line can do for a team.
Absolutely.
And the Ravens, they seem to have that advantage,
He did.
especially when you look at how Lamar Jackson performed.
So he was in the zone.
He was on fire. A
Yeah.
perfect passer rating, multiple touchdowns.
It's one thing to have athleticism, but Jackson's decision-making in this game was razor sharp.
Oh, yeah.
The transcript even mentions how he was extending plays, buying time for receivers to get open.
Right.
And that put the Buccaneers defense in a real bind. They couldn't predict, was he going to run? Was he going to pass?
It's like they're always one step behind.
Always.
And speaking of putting defenses in a bind, we got to talk about that Ravens run game.
Well,
It wasn't just Lamar Jackson making moves. J.K. Dobbins had that incredible long touchdown run.
oh, that was a thing of beauty.
It felt like they were gaining serious yardage with every carry.
That long touchdown run was a pivotal moment. It shifted the momentum and forced the Buccaneers to play catch-up. It highlights a key point. Even in an era of these flashy quarterbacks, a strong running game can be the foundation of a winning strategy.
It's like that old school football.
It is, but it's still so effective.
Yeah, it's like they're wearing down the defense.
Exactly.
So I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. The offensive line protects the quarterback.
Right.
The run game keeps the defense on its toes, and then Lamar Jackson comes in with those laser-sharp passes.
Like a well-oiled machine when it's all working together.
Exactly.
But let's not forget about defense.
Oh, right, of course.
You can have the best offense in the world, but if your defense can't hold their ground, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're going to be in a shootout.
And in this game, Marlon Humphreys was the Ravens' defensive MVP.
He was everywhere.
Those two interceptions were game changers, plain and simple.
When I saw that in the transcript, I was like, get out of here.
I know.
2 interceptions. One of them was in the end zone, right?
What a way to shut down a scoring opportunity.
Yeah.
It's not just about the turnovers themselves, it's the timing.
Oh, interesting.
Both those interceptions came at crucial moments when the Buccaneers were building momentum. Like Humphrey had this knack for being in the right place at the right time.
Right.
Reading the quarterback's mind, sniffing out those passes, and it totally disrupted the Buccaneers' game plan.
So it sounds like even though the Buccaneers scored first,
Yeah.
the Ravens had a lot of things going in their favor.
They did.
But, before we really dive into those individual performances,
Sure.
let's pause for a second and hear from you, the listener.
Oh, yeah?
What stood out to you from this game?
What surprised you?
Was there a moment that made you jump out of your seat?
Yeah. Let us know.
We'll come back to your thoughts in a bit, but first, let's unpack some of the key players
All right, let's do it.
who really made their mark on this matchup.
Sounds good. So let's start with, the man of the hour, Lamar Jackson.
He was incredible.
You mentioned his perfect passer rating, which is, a rare feat in itself.
Yeah.
But what makes it even more impressive is the way he achieved it.
Yeah, he was running all over the place, making these incredible throws on the run.
Exactly. His mobility adds a whole other dimension to the Ravens offense.
For sure.
The Buccaneers defense, they just couldn't key in on him.
Right.
Is he going to scramble? Is he looking for that deep bomb? It kept him constantly off balance.
He's like you said, they were always a step behind.
Always a step behind.
There was this one moment in the transcript
Yeah.
where the Buccaneers, they brought extra pressure,
Right.
trying to contain Jackson.
Yeah.
And he just calmly sidestepped it and threw this perfect spiral for a first down.
I know. It's like
It was almost like he was playing a different game.
he was in complete control, reading the defense, anticipating their moves.
Yeah.
But, on the Buccaneers side, we have to acknowledge Mike Evans,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
100 career touchdowns,
Mm.
puts him among the all-time greats.
Absolutely.
But it begs the question, why couldn't the rest of that Buccaneers offense get on track?
Yeah, it's almost like that first touchdown was a flash of brilliance, and then they just fizzled out.
Yeah.
The transcript talks about drops and missed connections and just a general lack of rhythm.
And, a lot of those struggles can be traced back to the offensive line.
Oh, really?
They were under pressure all game.
Okay.
And when your quarterback is constantly on the run, it's hard to establish any offensive consistency.
It's like trying to hit a moving target.
Exactly. It's like trying to build a house on a shaky foundation.
Yeah, you need that solid base.
You do.
And that's where the Ravens defense really shines.
Oh, absolutely.
Marlon Humphrey with those 2 interceptions.
Game changer.
He was like a hawk circling the field,
I love that analogy.
just waiting to pounce on those errant passes.
And those interceptions weren't just lucky breaks.
Right.
Those were a result of great instincts and anticipation.
So it wasn't just being in the right place at the right time?
No. It was knowing where to be before it even happened.
Wow.
One of them in particular came at a critical moment
Which one?
when the Buccaneers were driving into Ravens territory, threatening to tie the game.
Oh, right. It was like Humphrey sensed exactly what the Buccaneers quarterback was going to do.
He did.
Jump the route and snatch that ball right out of the air.
Incredible play.
Completely shifted the momentum.
And that's what makes a great defensive player.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
ability to not just react, but to anticipate, to read the play before it unfolds.
So we've talked about the quarterbacks, the receivers, the
Yeah.
defensive stars.
Yeah.
But you know what really intrigues me?
What's that?
The battle in the trenches.
Ah, yeah.
The offensive and defensive line.
The unsung heroes.
They often don't get the glory,
They don't.
but they're the unsung heroes of every game.
You're absolutely right. Football is a game of inches, and those battles at the line of scrimmage can determine who wins those crucial inches.
Totally.
And the transcript mentions that the Buccaneers' offensive line was dealing with some injuries.
Oh, yeah.
And that definitely impacted their ability to protect the quarterback and open holes for the running backs.
I noticed that too. It seemed like every time the Buccaneers quarterback dropped back to pass, there was a Ravens defender in his face,
Yeah.
forcing him to make a quick decision or scramble for his life.
That constant pressure can really disrupt an offense's timing and rhythm.
Makes sense.
It's no coincidence that they struggled to move the ball consistently.
Right.
On the flip side, the Ravens' offensive line,
Yeah, right.
well-oiled machine.
They were paving the way for those big gains.
Exactly.
And that brings us back to an interesting point you made earlier.
Yeah.
The impact of a single player on a game.
Right?
So do you think the outcome would have been different if, say, Lamar Jackson hadn't been playing at such a high level?
That's a tough question to answer definitively. Football is a team sport,
For sure.
and every player contributes.
Right.
But there's no doubt that a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, when he's firing on all cylinders,
Yeah.
can elevate the entire team.
Right.
His performance in this game was a masterclass in leadership and playmaking.
It's like he was a conductor orchestrating the entire offense,
I like that.
keeping the Buccaneers defense guessing,
Right.
inspiring his teammates to play their best.
Absolutely.
And speaking of inspiring performances,
Yeah.
Marlon Humphrey's interceptions.
Right?
They weren't just about individual brilliance.
Ah.
They seemed to energize the entire Ravens defense.
Absolutely. Big plays like that can create a ripple effect throughout the team.
Totally.
Suddenly the defense is playing with more confidence.
Yeah.
The offense is feeding off that energy, and it becomes this positive feedback loop.
I love that. A positive feedback loop.
It's contagious.
Okay, so we've talked about individual performances and those pivotal moments that shape the game, but let's zoom out a bit. What does this Ravens victory mean for both teams moving forward?
Well, for the Ravens, it's a statement win.
Okay.
It shows that they're legitimate contenders.
Right.
A team capable of beating anyone on any given day.
Yeah.
Their offense is clicking, their defense is making big plays, and they have a quarterback who's playing at an MVP level.
Yeah. It's scary.
It is a little bit.
And for the Buccaneers.
It's got to be a bit of a wake-up call.
Yeah.
They've got the talent, but they need to find a way to overcome those offensive line issues
Right.
and generate more consistent production if they want to keep pace in a tough division.
And they're in a tough division.
They have a lot of soul searching to do.
Yeah.
They need to figure out how to get back on track and rediscover that offensive spark that made them so dangerous in the past.
Yeah, because they're not a team to be taken lightly.
Absolutely not.
But before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want to go back to those listener comments we asked for earlier.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it.
I'm curious to hear what stood out to you, the listener.
Yeah, what surprised you?
What made you think differently about the game?
Sometimes the most insightful observations come from those watching the game with fresh eyes.
Exactly. So what are your takeaways?
It's amazing how,
Yeah.
one play can have such a ripple effect on the whole game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like a drop pass, a missed tackle.
Yeah.
It can completely change the momentum.
Right. It's like chaos theory applied to football.
I like that.
One butterfly flaps its wings and suddenly the whole game is different.
Exactly.
But, speaking of things that can change the course of a game,
Yeah.
let's talk about coaching.
Oh, yeah.
We've focused a lot on individual players,
Right.
but the coach's role is crucial too.
Absolutely. The coach is like the architect.
Okay.
Designing the game plan,
Yeah.
making those crucial decisions during the game,
Right.
and inspiring the players to perform at their best.
So the transcript doesn't go into a ton of detail about the coach's decisions, but I'm curious, were there any moments where you felt like a coach's call made a big difference in the game?
Well, there was that moment in the third quarter
Yeah.
when the Buccaneers went for it on fourth down in their own territory.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty risky call.
It was.
It didn't pay off.
No.
And the Ravens capitalized on the good field position to score another touchdown.
Right.
So that was a turning point.
Yeah.
And you could argue that, the coach's decision to gamble backfired.
Yeah, it's a tough call.
It is.
High risk, high reward.
Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't.
Exactly. And I guess it's not just about the X's and O's.
Right.
It's about leadership too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting the players motivated, keeping them focused, building that team spirit.
Think about those timeouts.
Yeah.
Those moments when the coach gathers the players for a pep talk.
Right, right.
Those are the moments that can make or break a team spirit.
For sure.
And those moments don't always show up in a play-by-play transcript.
Yeah.
But they're essential to understanding how a team functions.
Yeah, it's like the unseen forces at play.
Exactly.
So it's like we've peeled back the layers of this game.
Yeah.
From the individual performances to the strategic decisions,
Okay.
and now to the influence of coaching.
It all plays a part.
We've gone from a simple play-by-play to a deep understanding of what makes this game tick.
Absolutely. And it's not just about this particular game.
Right.
It's about applying those insights to future games,
Okay.
understanding the nuances, the hidden dynamics that shape the outcome.
So next time you're watching a game,
Yeah.
don't just focus on the scoreboard.
Right.
Pay attention to those subtle details, those coaching decisions,
Right.
those moments of individual brilliance.
You might be surprised at what you discover.
Exactly.
Remember, a true fan doesn't just watch the game,
Yeah.
they dissect it,
They analyze it
and they appreciate the complexity.
of this amazing sport.
Well said.
Thanks for diving deep with us. Until next time, keep exploring.